Hello everyone and welcome to a new series in which I call Fangirl Talks About, in which I, a very avid fangirl, will discuss many different fandoms, from TV shows to movies to literally anything you want to hear about. I will talk about it. Actually, please let me know. I need ideas. Thank you very much. Growing up, I watched a lot of shows. I definitely took in a lot of media as a kid. The two greatest shows and my favorites were Gravity Falls and, if you can't tell by my shirt, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Basically, every summer I do a rewatch of Avatar, and because I don't have a trigger warning job, I thought I might as well make this video. If you love the show, I hope you stick around and watch. And if you haven't seen the show, I think I'm pretty good at explaining things, personally. Or if you want to go watch it really quick and come back, you can do that too, whatever you want. Let's get started. Okay, ready? Book 1. Water. So we start off with the boy and the iceberg. What a title, what a name. Opening it all up, we have Sokka and Katara. They're siblings from the water tribe. Katara can waterbend and Sokka is normal. When I was younger, I used to try to bend water in the shower and in the pool. I think that I would be a waterbender. That's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think you would be. I know nobody wants to be firebenders, but I think firebending is really cool too. So I wouldn't mind being a firebender, but I just think personally, I'm a waterbender through and through. The siblings meet a mysterious boy trapped in the ice. His name is Aang, and he's an airbender. Now, at this point, airbenders have been extinct for 100 years. And you're thinking, how did they get extinct? The Fire Nation. The Fire Nation killed them all. Every single one of them, somehow. But Aang is alive. He doesn't really know that they're all dead, which is honestly really sad. He doesn't know how long he's been sleeping for. He doesn't know that everybody's dead. Also with him is his giant bison, Appa. How did he survive too? I don't know. They don't know who he is. They don't know how he got there. They don't know what he wants. They think he's a spy. Well, Sokka thinks he's a spy. And honestly, that's kind of valid to me because he just showed up out of nowhere one day. He's an airbender. They thought airbenders were extinct. But, if they read the title of the show, Avatar: The Last Airbender, they would know he's the Avatar and he's the last airbender. Also, in this episode, we meet Prince Zuko. Let me tell you something about Prince Zuko. He has the best character arc of all time. You don't have to agree with me, but just know that if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. He starts off as this annoying, bratty, spoiled prince. And who he turns into? One of the best characters ever. Not kidding. You can quote me on that. Right now, though, he is kind of annoying. I don't like him in the first season. He really bothers me. Him and his dumb ass ponytail bother me. It's sad. It's a sad thing that happened to him, but genuinely, he bugs me so bad. Right now, he has to restore his honor so that he can go back and live in the Fire Nation because he's a prince that got banished. Blah, 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 restore honor, blah, 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 blah. He only says it a bajillion times throughout the whole series. He tries to capture Aang, and Aang escapes. So we'll see this theme actually throughout the whole show, him capturing Aang and then Aang escaping and then him capturing Aang and then Aang escaping and then Katara and Sokka, thankfully, come to his rescue. Aang and Katara will learn waterbending from a waterbending master up north. Katara is the only waterbender in the South Pole and there's no one to teach her because they killed them all. They tend to do that a lot. I don't know if that's a theme. The firebenders, they tend to kill people a lot. They try to wipe out whole civilizations. That's our introduction to our main characters. And honestly, it gives us a lot to work off of about who they are and almost who they will become. Aang is our hero, but he's also just a boy. He's 12 years old and he kind of gets thrown into this position that he doesn't really want to be put in. Unfortunately, he has to be. He's the Avatar. No one else can be the Avatar for him. Now we have Katara. So Katara is a young girl who's trying to connect with a part of her that she doesn't really know. So she has to almost carry this weight of being the only one left. The siblings both lost their mom. Katara feels a sense of responsibility to be that for Sokka. Later on in the series, he literally tells Toph, like, when I picture my mother's face, I can only picture Katara. So she has that sense to step up and be that for him, which brings me to Sokka. Sokka also steps up, but he steps up to be like his dad. His dad is gone. He's fighting in the war. So both their parents are not there. They have to kind of be that for each other because, I mean, they have Gran. But what's Gran going to do for them, you know? Sokka wants to be a warrior. He wants to fight. He wants to protect Katara. That's his goal. He likes to protect people. Besides Zuko, I think he has the best development in the whole series. He starts off as this, like, sexist wannabe warrior. He turns into my favorite character, personally. Lastly, we have Zuko, who's this angsty teenage boy with a ponytail who's filled with rage, just like pure rage. He's so mad all the time, but he has a drive to get what he wants and what he thinks he needs. Right now, that's the Avatar. Later, obviously, it changes. He's so adamant about capturing the Avatar and returning home that nothing will get in his way. So back to the actual plot. Aang goes to the Air Temple, where he was born, where he was raised, where all his friends lived, and there's just nothing. Aang, I think, realizes throughout the series that he wants to rebuild and he should rebuild the Air Nation. But what's there to rebuild? Like, genuinely, like, it's him, it's Appa, and then he finds Momo. Their next adventure leads them to Kyoshi Island. And one thing about the Kyoshi warriors is I think they're the best non-bending fighters in the whole show. I think that the only person that gives them a run for their money is Ty Lee. And guess what? Ty Lee becomes a Kyoshi warrior in the end. I honestly wish we saw even more of Suki. I almost wish she joined them when they left. Like, I don't know why she didn't. I know she was only supposed to be a one-time character, but she actually brought, like, interesting plot, and she was a great fighter. So Aang needs to find a way to talk to Roku, so they go to his temple, and then he finds him, and then, like, Avatar stuff happens. I don't really need to get into that. Long story short, Roku tells Aang that he has to master all 4 elements before Sozin's Comet, which is at the end of the summer. I could do that. That's so easy. I could do that in my sleep. And as Sokka put it, it took him 112 years to master airbending. He could do the other 3 in a couple months. It's fine. Probably. I'm going to speed run through some of these next episodes in book 1. Jet. I have 3 things to say. Don't like him, don't like him, and don't like him. How do you trust a man that you just met over your own brother? Before I get into my next point, let me just say, I did watch the live action. I watched the movie and I watched the show. I was disappointed with the show, less than I was disappointed with the movie. The movie, I don't even talk about. I don't even consider it part of anything, really. But the show, I was slightly disappointed with. I liked it, but it didn't feel like Avatar to me. But what I will say, thing I really like that they added was that the 41st Division is Zuko's crew. If you don't remember, the 41st Division is the troop or whatever that caused Zuko to have an Agni Kai with his father. So his father was going to push those troops into battle as a decoy, and they were all gonna die, essentially. And Zuko stood up and said, you can't do that. They're soldiers. They're fighting for our nation. How could you do that to them? And Zuko's dad got disrespected and, you know, burned him. 41st Division being Zuko's crew adds a whole new layer to his character that wasn't there before. It shows that he was still a compassionate and good person, even when he was his most evil. I think the live action did have some good moments in addition to that. I'm excited for season 2 and 3. I'm excited to see Toph. She's my favorite character. Someone on TikTok said the actress said that they are making Toph more feminine and everyone was raging about it. Personally, I watched the video. I don't think that's what she meant. But also, why are we so mad about making her more feminine? Being feminine isn't inherently bad. She has insecurities about it, actually, that she talked about in the show. She doesn't know what she looks like, so she doesn't care. But she does care. I don't think it's crazy to say that every woman that fights has to be manly. It's like Suki said, I'm a warrior, but I'm also a girl at the end of the day. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked, but I get passionate about this kind of stuff. Back to Zuko, though. The blue spirit is a great way of showing his conflict. It's a great way of showing his conflict. I think that's the beginning of his, like, disconnect from the Fire Nation. I don't think it comes as late as season 2. I think it starts right there. And I know he only rescued Aang so that he could capture him himself. I think there's a moment, and it happens when Aang asks, do you think we could be friends in another life? He pauses. He doesn't attack him right away. It's like he's thinking about it. And he wants to be like, yeah, we could be friends. But he doesn't, and he just attacks him. Fire is the most interesting element to me because it's the only element that you can produce out of the palm of your hand. Air is all around us. Water, you need a source of water. And earth, you need a source of earth. Fire is the only one that produces from within you. You need to be able to control it, though, or else you get burned. And we saw the consequences of that when Aang burned Katara, and it kind of turned him off from this idea of firebending. Like, okay, maybe I was too reckless. Maybe Zhang was right. I wasn't ready. And he wasn't. He wanted to rush it. He wanted to produce fire, and he burned his friend. If Katara wasn't a healer, that whole situation would have been a lot different. I think Sokka would have hated Aang for the rest of his life. Katara and Aang's relationship would be scarred forever. I don't think it would ever recover from that because he would be so afraid that he was going to hurt her again. And honestly, he probably would swear off firebending forever. Like, I don't think he would ever do it because I think he would just be that scared. So finally, we get to the Northern Water Tribe. Aang finds the waterbending master, Master Pakku, and goes up to him and is like, oh, I have my friend, and like, we're going to learn waterbending together. And Master Pakku's like, great. Unfortunately, that's not the case. They don't teach girls how to fight. Yeah, they don't teach girls how to fight. Yeah, that's just not my cup of tea. They have to do the healing? What? Are you crazy? Katara is the most powerful waterbender. I honestly think that I think that's a fact. I don't think that there's anyone else that's more powerful than her. People say that one guy from Legend of Korra. I don't really care. I don't even know his name. That's how irrelevant he is to my life. I think Katara is because she masters fighting, she masters healing, and she masters bloodbending. She has all 3 types of bending under her belt. But speaking of Legend of Korra, you know what pisses me off the most about it? She's known as a healer. She's not known as a fighter. She's not known as like this great waterbender. She's known as a great healer. And that is just salt in the wound. She fought tooth and nail to be able to fight and learn the proper waterbending forms just to be known as a healer. Are you serious right now? She is a badass fighter. That's her. She's the best. She's my favorite character. One of my favorite moments, though, in the last few episodes is when Zuko and Katara are fighting, and he's like, oh, wow, you found yourself a master. Because she ate. She ate down. Honestly, didn't she learn most of it by herself? Pakku couldn't have taught her that much in, like, that short amount of time. She probably learned all of it, or most of it, by herself. Don't get me started about how stupid Zuko is. So he takes Aang. Wait, let's break this down for you. He's fighting them. He wins. He takes Aang and he runs. He runs into a blizzard, mind you. He runs into a blizzard in the South Pole. Nope. In the North Pole on a full moon. Is he dumb? I'm not kidding. He's going to die. He would die. Sokka and Yue and Katara go out to find them, and they find them. But they were going to leave Zuko there. He would have died. If Aang wasn't nice and said, no, we should save him, he would have been donezo. And I know Iroh crashes out on him over this, but trust me, I would have been 10 times worse than him. How are you so stupid? I'm being serious. I'm being so serious. How are you so stupid? You can't take the Avatar into a blizzard. You're a firebender, first of all. You're not a waterbender. And expect to live. Like, I do feel bad for him, though. He's a complex character. I know he is. That's why he's one of my favorites. But, like, your dad telling you you're lucky to be born is a crazy statement. I get it. But we don't have to go to such extreme lengths to capture the Avatar. I promise you, I promise you. He doesn't care if you live or die, if he tells you that. I think he's fighting so hard for his father's love, but his father doesn't even like him, let alone love him. So he just needs to get over it at some point. And the way that Aang is just passed out in the spirit world during this whole interaction is just so funny. Like, they're just carrying his body around, and Zuko's taking it through the frozen tundra. Aang is fighting Ko. Not fighting. He's talking to Ko, the face stealer. If I had to talk to Ko, I would be done for. And it's not because I'd be scared. No. I would be scared of him. But he's not that scary. I would just laugh in his face. And that's the problem. If me and my friends were there, and our one instruction is don't show any emotions, someone's laughing. And it's going to be Jenna. Because Jenna laughs in the worst types of situations. I hope she's watching this. Hi, Jenna. But Jenna laughs in the worst types of situations, and that makes all of us laugh. If she starts laughing, I'm done. My face is stolen. And everybody else's face is stolen in there too. Because we're all laughing at Ko. And you know what? He's going to be the one that's laughing now because he has our faces. So what are we going to do about it? You know what else I'm thinking about? What if Zhao picked up the ocean spirit instead of the moon spirit? Like, what would have happened? Like, would the ocean have dried up? And Yue couldn't even save the ocean spirit. She only had that moon spirit in her. Which, by the way, would you want to be the moon? I would. That's so cool. I would love to be the moon. Let me just sit up there for all time. But it's kind of sad, though, because she likes Sokka and, like, she sees him, like, kiss other girls. And that would kill me. I'd be so mad. I'd come down as the moon spirit and I'd be like, stop! You have to stop. I was born on a full moon. Where's my white hair? Where's my moon spirit? I don't understand this. Why can't I be the moon? I'd be such a good moon. Aang turns into the ocean spirit because, you know, Zhao killed the moon spirit and they're yin and yang. So one can't really live without the other. So the ocean goes on a killing spree in revenge. He defeats all of the troops there just as the ocean spirit. If I was the Avatar, I would always be in the spirit state. Like, Korra, she used it to, like, win that one race that one time, and, like, Tenzin got mad at her. But, like, guess what? I'm doing that. I'm using my Avatar spirit every single day, no matter what. I don't really care. Who's going to tell me no? I'm the Avatar. So the Water Tribe wins because Aang comes in as the ocean spirit, hands swinging around, you know. Zhao gets dragged into the ocean because he's the one that killed the moon spirit. And that always makes me laugh because Zuko reached for your hand and you just ignored him. Speaking of Zuko, Habibi, he's tired. He needs his rest. And I know he meant that physically, but I think mentally he was tired too because, you know, he's been trying to capture the Avatar for, I think, 2 years at the start and then 3 years. Like, it becomes 3 years. His dad doesn't love him. His sister doesn't like him. And his mom's gone. So he has really no one except for his uncle. And he's just tired. He's tired. I think he's tired of losing because every single time he has him, he loses him, which is his fault. So the last scene is very interesting. We see the Fire Lord, and I don't really know why they don't show his face. I think it's kind of stupid. Like, he's not as, like he is the villain. Like, he is the villain, but it's just, like, I guess it's more scary, more ominous. But, like, us not seeing his face is, like, it doesn't really matter, you know? Anyway, the Fire Lord has a mission for, drumroll, please, Azula. I don't like Azula. I don't know if you could tell. She's an interesting character. I can appreciate that. So, that concludes book 1 of Avatar. Compared to where we started, our main characters have already grown so much. Wow, amazing. So Katara is a waterbending master. She's a beast. I just, like, when she fought Paku, like, a part of me was so happy. I was just so happy for her. I was like, you go, girl. You deserve this. This is your moment, you know? Sokka is obviously a better warrior now. He steps up and volunteers to fight in the Siege of the North episode. His first girlfriend turns into the moon. Aww. And he has to live with the fact that he couldn't protect her, which, like I said at the beginning, he's a protector. He likes to protect the people he loves. That's why he's so adamant about protecting Katara, because he has to step up and be their dad, essentially. So when he can't protect his girlfriend from turning into the moon, he has to live with that. But it's okay. He grows as a warrior, but more importantly, as a person. Zuko is tired, like I said before. I think he needs to reevaluate what he really wants in this moment, because I don't think what he wants is in line with what he's meant to do. And he needs to realize that. And he doesn't yet. And that's okay. We'll give him some grace. We'll give him some time. But eventually, we gotta get the ball rolling. Finally, Aang grows up a lot. Even from the whole first season, like, he grows. It's only a couple months, but basically mastered waterbending. And he's accepted who he is. And who he is the Avatar. He doesn't run from it anymore, even though he has. In many episodes, he runs from it. But he doesn't anymore, which is a lot of growth from him. I just feel like this maternal urge to, like, love and protect Aang. He's my favorite character. Like, he has to be. Book 2. Earth. Now, Azula is in the picture, though. And I'm scared of her. She's 14, but she has a lot of, she instills a lot of fear in me, even though she's 14. She tells Zuko that their father regrets banishing him. And he wants him home. What a load of bullshit. I don't know how he's not suspicious about that, but Iroh is. Iroh sees right through her because he knows that she's crazy. He's the first one to say it, by the way. But Zuko wants to be accepted so bad that he doesn't care. And it's just like, how can you be so blinded by, like, acceptance that you're just gonna jump right in? You can't pause. Let's think about this. Does my father really want me home? No. No, he doesn't. He doesn't like you. And I know that's really mean of me to say, but he doesn't. He uses people as pawns. And when they're not serving him, bye. And Azula is the most perfect pawn for him, because she does whatever he wants her to do, which is great. Yeah, it's great for him. Not great for everybody else, but it's great for him. While all that is happening, Aang is trying to figure out the Avatar state. And it's kind of weird because right now it's not an on and off switch that you can just... The general's trying to, like, trigger it, and it just is not working. But you know what does trigger it? Katara. When Katara's in trouble, that's what triggers the Avatar state. I love them. I think that's a really unpopular opinion. Zutara's fine. I don't like it, though. It's not my favorite for a reason, like, for a couple of reasons, but it's fine if you like it, if that's your cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea. It really reminds me of Draco and Hermione. But that's worse to me. That's infinitely worse. I actually hate Hermione, because why are we telling a girl to get with a guy that called her slurs? Let's talk about that. Why is it so hard to accept that he was just awful? He was horrible. And people are like, he was in love with her the whole time. No, he wasn't. Anyway, Zuko realizes it was a trap, obviously, because the one guy's like, get the prisoners on board. Like, you ruined the whole mission. I'd be so mad. He'd be sent overboard if I was Azula. Like, he'd be gone out of my battalion. Zuko and Iroh cut off their top knots, which is very big in a lot of different Asian cultures. I think the Fire Nation is mostly based on Japanese culture. In Japanese culture, your hair shows your status. So if you have that top knot, that means, like, you are an honorable person. But them cutting it off, they are separating themselves from the Fire Nation and almost dishonoring themselves, which is really interesting to me, because this whole time Zuko's like, I need to restore my honor, I need to restore my honor. But then he realizes that his father doesn't actually want him back. He realizes that, I might have to change a few things. I'm happy. I'm so happy this happened, because he really needed this. Cave of Two Lovers is... I think it's one of my favorite episodes in the whole show. I love the nomads. They're fun. And it speaks to me. Love shines brightest in the dark. That's, like, the whole, like, message of the episode, right? And I think it just kind of beautiful. The fact that Katara is the one that suggested that they kiss. Come on, guys. She has to like him a little bit. People are like, she sees him as a son. Like, she's a mother figure. No. Let me tell you why. She's the one that suggested it. She likes him. Trust me. She does. I know she does. She's my friend. We've talked about this. When the gang goes to the swamp, it's actually really sad. Like, everybody sees someone that they lost. Not Aang. But everybody sees someone that they lost. So Katara and Sokka. It's actually really messed up. Sokka sees Yue and she's like, you didn't protect me. What did I say his biggest fear was? Not being able to protect the ones he loves. So that's like a stab in the heart. And then Katara sees her mom. I'm glad Aang didn't see anything crazy. Like, I'm glad he saw Toph because they could have showed the whole Air Nation. Every single person. And what would he have done? He would have crashed out. I'm not going to say much about Avatar Day because, like, I don't really have anything to say. But what I do have to say is the fact that Kyoshi possesses Aang to be like, yeah, I did kill Chin. And what about it? Like, she didn't want him clearing her name. She wanted to... I killed Chin the Conqueror. Do you know what time it is, though? The Blind Bandit is here. My favorite character is Toph. I think I've said 50 different people at this point are my favorite character, but I don't really care because they're all my favorite character. But I especially love Toph. Like, she just has such a place in my heart. What do you mean she's blind? And she feels the vibrations of the earth and attacks. Like, that's how she sees. That's crazy. Zuko alone is a very underrated episode, in my opinion. I don't know if it's underrated, actually. I'm just saying that because I love it. I think it's a very good episode. It's at the perfect point for Zuko's development. I do hope Zuko and Lee meet again one day. I think their relationship was very sweet. It was brotherly. And the fact that Zuko gave him the knife, I think, spoke a lot of volume about who he was trying to be. He wanted to be like Iroh in that situation, but they didn't really trust him because he's Fire Lord, whatever. He ruined the relationship at the end when he was like, I'm Zuko, Prince of the Fire Nation, blah, 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 blah. Like, you could hold off for 5 minutes. Whatever, bro, you're banished. You're not even Prince of the Fire Nation anymore. You're estranged Prince of the Fire Nation. That's what you are. We also see flashbacks in this episode that show that Azula was crazy as a kid. Like, the turtle ducks, when they're like, do you want to see how Azula... Wait, is that this episode? I think that's the episode where Zuko's like, do you want to see how Azula feeds turtle ducks? And he just throws the bread at them. What? What are we doing? They're turtle ducks. I'm sorry to Azula stans, but she is crazy. I know she's only 14, and that is very sad. It's a very sad thing that she's only 14, but that doesn't mean she can't be crazy too. Toph is now an addition to the group, and there's definitely some rocky relationships going on. Katara and Toph are two different people, and I think that they both bring something different to the table, but they beef. They beef a lot, actually. The chase is not the only episode where they beef, let me tell you that much. And in the chase, just Katara is just so... She's so messed up, honestly, to Toph. Like, it's actually so funny sometimes. But it's crazy. She's crazy. She's so petty. She's so mad. And she's like, the stars sure are beautiful tonight. Too bad you can't see them, Toph. She's blind. She's never been able to see the stars. I don't know if she meant that because she was in the tent and, like, she forgot that she was blind, or she was rubbing it in her face that she's blind and she can't see the stars. Hey, guys. Sorry. I can't even pretend like it's not a new day because it very clearly is. I'm not wearing my Avatar shirt. Sorry. I have this. I'm not wearing it the whole video, though. I just want you to know that I have it. I know I look stupid right now, is basically what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I had to take a break because I had to go. But now we're back, so let's get into it. Aang is trying to learn earthbending. Durr. And Toph is having a really difficult time teaching him because he's an airbender and the opposite of earth is air. It's just two different styles of fighting. Airbenders are very, like, defensive, and earthbenders are just, like, they hold their ground, and I don't really know, honestly. But him not being able to earthbend is very refreshing to me because he just can't be good at everything that he does because that would just ruin the whole show. Aang is 12 years old. He does not need to be mastering the elements right now. I mean, he does need to be mastering the elements right now, but he's 12. Like, he's still a kid. He still has time after this whole war is over to finish mastering the elements and, like, perfecting it. Everybody has their own mini vacations picked out, and Sokka decides to go to a library in the middle of a desert. Honestly, dumb decision on his end. I mean, it was smart. In hindsight, it is smart, but it's just not worth it. I don't think it was worth it. So they find this library, Wan Shi Tong's library. And he's the spirit keeper of the books, the library, whatever. And honestly, he's like, I'm he who knows 10,000 things. That's not that impressive. I bet I know 10,000 things. I bet I know 10,001 things, actually. Not just 10,000 things. He's actually terrifying. I'm not kidding. I'm scared of him. The way that he, like, moves, and he's just so, like, he gives me the shivers. Like, when I see him, like, I don't like Wan Shi Tong. Sokka discovers the darkest day in Fire Nation history, which is an eclipse. Now, on the eclipse, firebenders lose their bending for, like, however long the eclipse lasts. It's 8 minutes, I believe. So during that 8 minutes, no firebending, no firebending. They need to know when the next eclipse is happening, and they need to get that information to the Earth King so that they can do an invasion, basically. That's what they want to do. Like, they had this opportunity, and they're going to take it. Duh. And they do. They find the date of the next eclipse, and they get on out of there. The only problem is, Wan Shi Tong was like, you guys can't use this for evil. And guess what they did? They used it for evil, which I don't think it's necessarily evil. That's why I don't like him. He just bothers me. Like, we're trying to end a war here, and you're worried about us trying to defeat the evil people. You know? It's just a little bit, whatever. They get out of the library. They get what they want. But, you know, Wan Shi Tong, he goes a little bit mad, and he's like, I'm going to sink the library and all of you in it. That's a bit of a problem. It doesn't matter that he sinks the library. But when they get out of the library, Appa's gone. Appa is their way of travel. He's basically, he saves their life constantly. And without him, they're kind of screwed. Aang blames Toph because she was the only one outside the library because libraries aren't her thing. She's blind. So let's keep that in mind. She's blind. Aang is mad, obviously. And he's like, we could have helped you. You could have gotten me. And I could have gotten Appa. The library, hold on, let's pause. Library, sinking. Toph, blind. She can't even see. She uses her feet to see. And the sand, it moves so much, so she can't get a good look, essentially, about where everything is. Library, sinking. All the Avatar, a waterbender, Sokka, they're all trapped inside. She has to stop the library from sinking. How is she going to stop sandbenders from taking Appa? And she tries. No. She tries. That's the worst part. She literally sandbends at them. And guess what? She misses because she's blind. Aang is so mad. Give her a break. And I know he's just mad that Appa's gone. That's one of the only things that he has from home. But there's no need to yell. I promise. We'll find Appa. Aang leaves in a fit of rage. He says, I'm going to find Appa by myself. Okay, good luck with that. Sokka, Katara, and Toph are traveling through the desert, trying to find their way out. They have a limited water supply. They have no food. And they're basically screwed. And this episode is where we get one of the best scenes in the show, when Sokka drinks cactus juice. It's funny because Aang is having the worst day of his life. And Sokka is tripping on cactus juice. It's just the difference. I really appreciate it because it adds some lightheartedness to the episode that it would just be very, very sad without the comedic relief. So Appa's gone, obviously. So they have to travel a different way to Ba Sing Se. And they go through the Serpent's Pass with none other than my girl Suki. Sokka is being really overprotective of Suki because that's what he likes to do. He likes to protect the people that he loves. And then he lost his first girlfriend. So now he's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose the second girlfriend now. And you know, it keeps him awake at night. He saw Yue in the swamp. He sees her every night. And then him and Suki are about to kiss. And it's just the moon. And then he's like, I can't. Ooh, it kills me because that's such a good shot, because you know he's still thinking about what happened with Yue, and he's trying not to let it affect his feelings for Suki. How can you not think about Yue when he couldn't protect her and that's all that he wants to do? Like, they made it through the Serpent's Pass by the skin of their teeth, which kind of happens a lot. They're always like almost there and then something happens and then, you know. But now they're in Ba Sing Se. Kind of. There's a giant drill trying to drill into the walls of the city, and the drill is led by none other than Azula, and the gang stops the drill effectively because they're baddies. Now we're in Ba Sing Se, and guess what? There's no war in Ba Sing Se. The government of Ba Sing Se is trying to hide the fact that there is a war to not cause panic, and this always confuses me because there's so many refugees. The student at the university seemed to know about the war, and so did a lot of other people. A lot, like the people that they all talked to in the episode knew about the war. So I'm confused if nobody knows about the war. No, but people do know about the war. That's what confuses me. People do know about the war, and they don't want to spread. They're trying to keep.
The whole reason not to talk about the war is so people don't know it exists. But people know it exists. So there's no panic when people know it exists. Oh my god. But people know! I don't understand! They want to control people, that's the whole point. But people already know about the war.
The Tales of Ba Sing Se is an amazing episode. Each character gets their own little story. Katara and Toph's it's not my favorite, but it's very like heartwarming because, like I said earlier, Toph is not a girly girl, obviously, and everybody raged at the actress when she said they were going to make her more feminine. Blah, 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 whatever. The girls that they met on the street were mean to her. And even though she can't see what she looks like, that makeover helped her feel beautiful on the inside and the outside. I know she says she doesn't care what she looks like because she can't see herself, but that's just not true. I think every girl wants to think that they're pretty. And you know Katara truly believes that Toph is beautiful because she can tell when people are lying. I think it's a sweet moment between them two, and I think that they have a lot of beef, but I think it's moments like these where you realize why they're friends and that it's nice to have two girls, even though people don't really see Toph as a girl sometimes, even though she is. It's okay if she's a little bit more feminine. She likes to be feminine. She's a girl. She likes to do feminine things. She likes to get a makeover. So it's okay. I promise. It'll be okay. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. My favorite story is obviously Iroh's. I wish we got to see more of his backstory because I think it would be really interesting because we know he had a son, Lu Ten, obviously, but we don't know very much about Lu Ten or his wife. And I wish we did because he's one of my favorite characters. I think he's the most interesting, and I think he has one of the more interesting backstories. And I wish they delved a little bit deeper into him. While I do like the Zuko story a lot, I think people misread the Jin situation. People like always say, I wanted him with Jin, I wanted him with Jin. He didn't want to be with Jin. Do you know what I think? I think he would not have been happy with Jin. Not at all. He can't be a normal person, as bad as that sounds. He has to be the prince. He has to be the Fire Lord. He has to be something. He can't be a peasant. I'm sorry. He just can't. It's not in his blood. Jin was nice, and their date was cute. Don't get me wrong, like, I like Jin. I thought she was a cute girl. I think they had chemistry. But one good date doesn't mean they should have ended up together. Sorry, that's my opinion. You want to know the worst part about the whole Jet situation is? Jet was right. Zuko and Iroh were firebenders. And they made him feel like he was crazy. I'm not defending him. I don't like the guy, as you all know. But he was right. And he got brainwashed and killed for it. What? And while this whole situation's going on, Zuko's at war with himself for some reason. Again, he always is. Iroh's speech to him always gets me because he's right. Zuko doesn't think things through. Like in the North Pole, when he just captured Aang and was like, okay, let's go into the blizzard. What's he gonna do with a big bison? What's he going to do with the Avatar's bison after he captures it? Like, he doesn't stop and think. And he needs to be doing that because it just keeps getting him into more trouble. What does he really want? Because at this point, he knows capturing the Avatar won't bring him home. His dad doesn't like him. He doesn't love him. He doesn't want him home. He's happy he's not home. Because in his eyes, he's the disappointment of a son. Bringing back the Avatar is not going to help his cause. It's just going to make it, like, more complicated, if anything. In the end, he did the right thing. He released Appa. Thank God. He's getting there. His character arc is coming. He kind of tricks you for a little bit here, though. You think he's going to be good, and then things happen, and he's not. We all have to get over some humps, and he just has to get over a lot of them, and that's fine. But guys, Zuko gets physically sick from doing one good deed in his life. How embarrassing is that? Get a grip. You've never done anything good in your life, and all of a sudden, you're having a metamorphosis. Is that the word? Metamorphosis? Yeah, I think that's what he said. So you know how the government is controlling the Earth Kingdom and everything, and I don't think I talked about the Dai Li. The Dai Li are a group of earthbenders or something. I don't really know. And they kind of control Ba Sing Se. They're the ones that don't want anyone to know about the war. The leader of the Dai Li, Long Fang, doesn't want the gang to tell the Earth King about the war. And this is really difficult because the whole reason why they came to Ba Sing Se was to tell the Earth King about the war. And guess what? Judy is not letting them see the Earth King. Judy is holding that down. She's not letting anybody see the Earth King, especially not before the request gets processed in 6 to 8 weeks. The Dai Li are making sure that they do not see the Earth King. They don't find Appa. Anything that they went to Ba Sing Se to do, the Dai Li is making sure that they don't do. When they go to Lake Laogai, they go to like the secret headquarters of the Dai Li. That's where the whole situation with Jet happens. He dies, whatever. They're trying to find Appa. They get Appa, and then they say, you know what? They ambush the Earth King's palace. Why? I don't really know. The Earth King's like, okay, so why should I believe you? You guys just attacked all my guards. And Long Fang is like, yeah, you attacked all our guards. Why should he believe you? And they're trying to explain, there's a secret war going on for 100 years. You don't know about it, all this stuff. The Earth King believes them, eventually. Long Fang gets arrested. The Earth King decides to hear the gang out, and they are planning an invasion on the Fire Nation. Earth King is on their side now. They have a way to do the invasion with the Earth King's help. Long Fang has been keeping tabs on them, and he has like letters and stuff that have been sent to the whole gang, and he's just been keeping them. Toph gets a letter from her mom saying she's in the city and she wants to see Toph. Sokka and Katara have a map about a water tribe fleet at Chameleon Bay led by their dad, Chief Hakoda. And Aang gets a letter from a guru at the Eastern Air Temple, I think. I don't really know. And he wants to teach him how to master the Avatar state. They just got everyone back together, and now they all have to leave and go on their separate adventures. Katara stays back, though, because she has to teach everybody the invasion plan, like all the generals and whatever. Things turn south very, very quickly. So Toph goes to find her mom, but it's not her mom. It's the boulder, and I don't even know his name, honestly. I don't. They capture her because her parents want her to be captured and want her home. And they put her in a metal box. Wrong move. Guess what she does? She metal bends the cage. And she breaks out. Are you kidding me? Nobody can metal bend. Nobody's ever metal bended, ever. And she's the first one to do it. She's 12. She invents a whole new subsection of earthbending that nobody thought was possible before. She's just the best. She is the best. She feels the earth inside the metal, and that's how she bends it. What? So that's what Toph is doing on her little adventure. Katara is, teaching the generals the meeting and everything. Like, oh my gosh, the Kyoshi warriors are here. It's Suki. Like, that's so great. They're so trustworthy. Only it's not the real Kyoshi warriors. It's Freak Azula and friends. unfortunately. They're infiltrating the city from the inside out, which is honestly smart. I don't know why they didn't think of to do that in the first place. Like, why are we breaking down the walls of the whole city? Like, that's not going to do anything. You have to go inside out. While all this is happening, Aang is trying to master the avatar state with the guru. The guru is all like, chakras, chakras, chakras. And Aang is like, okay, we're opening them up. And then we hit a rock. The guru wants him to let go of everything that's blocking all of his chakras. One of the things that's blocking, I think, his back chakra or something, is Katara. And this whole section confuses me because the guru is saying, you need to let go of this, you need to let go of that, you need to let go of all these things in order to master the avatar state. And one of the things he says is you need to let go of Katara. Why does that confuse me, you ask? Because he does eventually master the avatar state. But guess what? He doesn't let go of Katara. He still has Katara. And guess what? The avatar state mastered. Ultimately, though, Aang refuses to let go of Katara because, and I quote, why would I choose cosmic energy over Katara? I love them. I love them so much. Why would he choose, like, power over love? I think that's such a silly thing to ask someone to do. Especially the avatar. He's allowed love. Nobody said he's not allowed love. All the past avatars had love. So why is this guru telling him you can't have attachments? I think what he was trying to say was you have to put your avatar duties before your attachments, like before your love for Katara. And I think he could have worded that better because it sounded like he was saying you can't be with Katara ever. And that's what Aang took it as. Aang, during his, like, you have to let go of Katara talk, he sees a vision of her in trouble. He chooses Katara over cosmic energy and goes back to Ba Sing Se to save her. While Aang is on his way, Katara's in, like, the catacombs of Ba Sing Se, and she's with Zuko. People really like this scene of them, and they think, oh my gosh, this is where they fall in love. I don't think that. I think this is where Katara sees that the person that she thinks is the enemy is a human being. Her being able to talk to Zuko made her realize, whoa, he's a human. He's a real person with real feelings. He's not this monster that's been chasing us this whole time. I think it comes from a place of understanding. They're not saying, okay, we're friends now. Okay, I like you now. They're saying, I see you. I understand you. Katara says, the Fire Nation took my mother away from me. And Zuko says, well, that's one thing we have in common. She sees that, and she sees that, hey, maybe the people of the Fire Nation also are losing this war. Maybe the people of the Fire Nation are not all evil. But Zuko, being Zuko, ruins that whole situation immediately. Ruins her understanding of him, ruins her empathy of him, like, completely smashes it through the ground just by being Zuko. Because guess what? He still wants his father's approval, and he still wants to go home. And so when Azula comes in and is like, brother, join me, obviously he says yes. Are we surprised? No. Are we disappointed? Yes. He genuinely needs to get a grip. And I know it's easier said than done. It's easier for me to say this while I'm watching it. I'm not Zuko. I haven't lived his life. He's spending all this time and energy and putting it towards his father's approval when he most likely will never get it. His father sent him away to find the Avatar. The Avatar was gone for 100 years. Fire Lord Ozai searched for the Avatar. His father searched for the Avatar. He's basically sending him on a meaningless mission so that he never has to see Zuko again. That's what was going through his mind. He said, oh, the Avatar hasn't been seen in 100 years. Zuko's not finding him. Bye, Zuko. He wanted him to be banished forever. He didn't think he was actually going to find the Avatar. He didn't think the Avatar was going to come back. So everybody starts getting into a fight. Azula's battling everybody. She has the Dai Li agents with her now. They betrayed Long Fang. Zuko's fighting them now. Everybody's just fighting everybody. Unfortunately, Azula blasts Aang out of the sky while he's trying to get into the Avatar state. You know, he passes out and he dies. He dies. And then Katara revives him with spirit water. Book 2 ends with the whole world thinking the Avatar's dead. Zuko is presumably gonna go back home to the Fire Nation with Azula, and everything's messed up. Now we're on Book 3, Fire. I'm kind of sad we're on the last season. It's been a really great journey with you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Aang wakes up on a Fire Nation ship after Azula struck him down with lightning. I think a lot of people look past the fact Aang died. He died. He's only alive now because Katara had spirit water. But if she didn't, he'd be dead. And he died in the Avatar state. So the whole cycle would be done. People kind of assume that Aang is this perfect Avatar, but he's not. He makes a lot of mistakes, and that's fine. He's a kid still. But he's not perfect. He definitely makes some mistakes. And then when he wakes up after weeks of being injured, he's like, oh my gosh, I died. That's insane. Everybody thinks I'm dead. I have to restore my honor, blah, 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 blah. The honor illness spreads, clearly. So if you're watching this video, please be careful because you might have the urge to restore your honor. The gang is now hiding in plain sight in the Fire Nation, which honestly is smart because who would think to look for them in the Fire Nation? The people who are actively trying to capture them, like, not me. What is important about this is that they are seeing how average Fire Nation villages are. For example, Aang goes to school and he sees that they're very brainwashed. And what they're learning is not even true. They literally teach them that the air nomads had a military and the air nomads don't have a military. So obviously it's the propaganda and everything. With Katara as the painted lady, she sees that, you know, these people are suffering. And just because they're Fire Nation doesn't mean they're suffering any less than other people. The war doesn't benefit everybody in the Fire Nation. Not all Fire Nation citizens are evil just because their ruler is. You know? Sokka getting a master is very important to the group because he's gone for like a day. And they are miserable without him. They don't know what to do with themselves. It just shows how important he is to their group. And I know they thought he was important before, but it really hammered home that they would be a mess without him. Like, truly, like, they are lost without him. It's really sad that they had to realize that when he was gone and he was training to become better with Master P and Dao. I'm very happy that he got his own master because I think he deserved it, and I think he deserved his space sword. So Aang travels with Roku to learn more about his past, and he learns that him and Fire Lord Sozin were best friends. We learn that Fire Lord Sozin and Avatar Roku are both Zuko's great-grandfathers. So Aang's kind of like his great-grandfather, technically, on a technicality. I really like this episode because, like Aang said, it proves that everybody is capable of great good and great evil. It doesn't matter if you're Fire Lord or a cabbage merchant. You're capable of doing both things. It's very purposeful that Zuko is the great-grandson of a representation of good and a representation of evil. He's two sides of the same coin. He has both good and evil blood in him, but he has to choose which path he wants to take. And it's all in his hands. His destiny is in his hands. This episode was a very big eye-opener for him. He realized that he doesn't have to be the perfect fire prince or whatever it's called. He doesn't have to look for his father's approval. He can be good, and he is good. Now let's talk about one of the characters with the best name. Sparky Sparky Boom Man. Or Combustion Man. I don't care what you call him. I like Sparky Sparky Boom Man. I don't understand how he just, like, looks at something and then, like... I think that he's crazy. I don't understand how it works. I don't understand the logistics behind it, but I think it's cool. There's just so many different aspects to bending that I don't understand. Like, is he a firebender or does he just have that in him? Like, is he a cyborg? Like, I don't get it. But speaking of weird bending, blood bending, let's talk about it. It's actually sick. I don't even mean that lightly. Like, it's very, very sick and twisted. The creators of the show were crazy for putting it in. It honestly is a very, very cool concept. I think they always knew that they wanted to do it, because even in season 2, when the guy in the swamp was like controlling the water in the plants, we are 80% water, or however much water. It's so easy to control people if you're a waterbender. Like, that's weird. That's so scary. You control the water in people's blood. Ew, that just like literally like makes me shiver. Like, that's so gross. I can't even imagine the feeling. Like, Hama is so weird, and she gets joy from it. That freak. This is also why Katara is the most powerful waterbender, because Hama spent years mastering bloodbending. It literally took Katara one try to do it, and she did it perfectly. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying bloodbending is good in any way, shape, form, anything, but she's just a powerful lady. So the firebenders are going to lose their bending for 8 minutes while the whole invasion situation happens. The group invades the Fire Nation in submarines because Sokka's a genius, and he invents submarines. Aang kisses Katara, which is a very sweet moment, in my opinion. If my opinion means anything to you, but I think that you got this far in the video, my opinion has to mean something to you. I love them. Personally, they make me happy. They make me, giddy. I honestly think it's the age thing. I think people are like, well, he's 12 and she's 14. Well, Katara is 14 and Zuko's 16, so what about that? Can we just pause for a minute on that? I think if Aang was 14, it would be a lot different story. I think people would be more willing to accept it. People just don't like happiness, I think. I'm looking at you. But he kisses her because he thinks he's not going to make it. He thinks he's literally going to die. That's so sad. People are like, Katara wasn't into it. Katara was into it. She blushed. She got giddy. She had to be snapped out of it. That's how into it she was. Don't let anyone tell you she doesn't like him, please. And nobody tell me she doesn't like him, please, because I'll just rage. I will just rage. So they invade, and it's just a little bit awkward because the Fire Nation knew the whole time. Remember when Azula went to Ba Sing Se in disguise as a Kyoshi warrior? She heard the whole plan. So Aang, Toph, and Sokka look for the Fire Lord in like the big underground bunker thing, but they find Azula instead. But while they're fighting Azula and the Dai Li agents, Zuko is standing up to his father. Thank God. It's been a long time coming. Finally, no more honor talk, no more talk of restore honor, no more my father needs to give me my honor, none of that anymore. Because guess what? He's leaving, and he told him he's going to join the Avatar. Boom. Zuko honestly has a lot of balls to do that, because how are you going to just expect to join the people that you've been hunting down and trying to kill for the past 2 years? I don't know. Ozai basically calls him a coward, a traitor, blah, 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 whatever. And then he baits him with his mom. Ozai was going to kill Zuko because Azulan said so, but Zuko's mom, Ursa, killed Azulan instead and had to leave. So she's not dead. She's still alive. That's one messed up family, if I've ever heard one. Because the Fire Nation knew about the invasion, the gang, plus friends, is forced to escape. The adults stay back and get captured, and the kids all retreat to the Western Air Temple. Sad. But they have Zuko chasing after them, and this time he wants to join them. Who gave him the bright idea? I don't know. Hello? Zuko here. He's such a loser. That's the best he could think of? Are you kidding me? I understand why they didn't trust him right away. I do. He was just messed up. And that doesn't excuse his actions, but like his dad burned him. It's a miracle that he came out less messed up than he could have. Anyway, they decide to trust him. And now Zuko's a part of Team Avatar, yay! Aang has his firebending teacher, finally. And it's the guy that's been trying to capture him the whole time. Ironic, right? This next segment, I'm going to call The Gang's Life-Changing Field Trips with Zuko and What I Think of Them. That's a good title, right? First up, we have Aang, my personal favorite. Aang and Zuko take a trip to the ancient civilization of the Sun Warriors. They are the ones that learned to firebend from dragons, the original firebenders. Unfortunately, though, the dragons, to our knowledge, are all extinct because Zuko's whole family killed them all. They hunted them for sport. His family's just so messed up. Like, it just piles on and piles on. Like, I don't know how he lived with them for that long. They find the civilization, or what's left of it. They learn a cute little fighting form called the dancing dragon. And it looks like a little dance. It's cute. But wait! There's actually people living in the city still, and they're all sun warriors. So they take Zuko and Aang to be judged by the masters. The masters end up being 2 dragons, and they judge them, and they give them this beautiful light show with so many different colors, and Zuko's just like, I understand it now. Basically, what they learned is that fire is not only destruction, it's life. Fire bending comes from the sun, which brings life to humans, animals, everything on Earth. We have to be a little bit more kind to firebenders. They're not evil. They're not destructive. Zuko also learned that he needs something else to fuel his inner fire. Because he switched sides, like his firebending was a lot weaker. Because his drive was capturing Aang. But now his drive is to help Aang defeat his father. That just about sums up Aang's life-changing trip with Zuko. Next up, we have Sokka. Unfortunately for us, though, the honor plague has spread to Sokka. He feels like he needs to rescue his dad in order to restore his honor. So the 2 boys head over to the Boiling Rock to see if Hakoda is there. Boiling Rock is a prison in the Fire Nation, and guess what? No one has ever escaped. That's rough, buddy. They disguise themselves as prison guards to search for Hakoda, and unfortunately, he's not there. But do you know who is there? Suki! Somewhere along the way, though, Zuko gets caught, and the warden is interrogating him, and he's May's uncle. And by the way, Zuko broke up with May over a letter, which is the equivalent of breaking up with someone over text. Let me tell you something right now. If I were May, I would be livid. I would be so mad. You wouldn't even see me be kind to him. And she is. She gives him so much grace. And guess what? No grace would be given if it was me. They decide to wait on their escape because there's a new batch of prisoners coming, and Sokka's like, well, what if it's my dad? It's a good lesson for him because he says at the invasion, if I had just cut my losses, we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. But it's important he tries. He can't not try in fear of being wrong. And guess what? He was right. So his dad was there. Now they plan an escape with everybody. But unfortunately, Azula and company is here. So that might make things a little bit bumpy. We know that May's with them. And May feels a certain type of way about Zuko because he broke up with her with a note. Or does she? The group almost escapes on a gondola, and the guards are going to cut the line. Azula is happy because it's like, bye-bye traitors. And Ty Lee's happy because she just does whatever Azula wants. But May's not happy. May's never happy. May takes out all the guards and lets their gondola go. Azula is pissed and confused as to why May would do that. Why would she do such a traitorous deed? And May says to her, you miscalculated. I love Zuko more than I fear you. I don't know if Azula feels love. She definitely has some tendencies to be sociopathic. So when May tells her, you miscalculated, she actually did miscalculate because she doesn't account for love, because she doesn't think love is more powerful than fear, which is what she's been taught her whole life. She thinks that she can scare people into being her friends. She can scare people into loyalty. But then she miscalculates again because Ty Lee chi blocks Azula because Ty Lee loves May more than she loves Azula. Now they're both screwed. But hey, at least they have each other and at least they have love. Something that Azula doesn't have. Sokka and Zuko and everybody else escape, and they bring them back to the Western Air Temple. And Chit Sang is there too. Now it's time for Katara's field trip. And unfortunately, this is my least favorite of the field trips. I know. I'm sorry, but Katara is such a rager in this episode. I'm not a Katara hater, by the way. I don't want you to accuse me of that. She just frustrates me in this episode a little bit. I love her so much. And unlike most fans, I don't make fun of her when she talks about her mother. She was a kid whose life was affected by a traumatizing event. Yeah, I would talk about it too. Essentially, in this episode, Zuko tells her that he knows who killed her mother, and he offers to help her find him. The reason why she pisses me off in this episode is because she's just rude to Aang and to Sokka. She tells Aang, "You would never know how this feels." Aang lost everything. Everyone and everything he's ever known. So you can't sit there and tell him you don't know how this feels when he knows exactly how it feels. And then she tells Sokka, well, maybe you didn't love mom like I did. That's unfair. Just because Sokka doesn't want to kill the guy that killed their mother doesn't mean he loved her any less. You don't need to be such a rager on your brother. You guys are the only family right now that you have. I empathize with her. I really do. But I'm just confused as to why all this anger is coming out right now. She's so mad. Zuko could not have brought out all that. In the end, she did not kill the guy. Thank God, honestly. We were all worried. She was just such a rager this episode. I thought she was going to, but she doesn't. With that, we conclude our life-changing field trip with Zuko. What did we learn? Firebending is not evil. Firebending is life. It comes from the sun. It's energy. You should always try, even if you're afraid to fail. You shouldn't not try in fear of failure. Violence is never the answer. You should let go of things. What great lessons he taught us, honestly. We're at the beginning of the end. But before that, I do have to say that the Emperor Island Players is the best filler episode ever. And the movie, remember the movie? The movie felt like the damn play. Actually, the play was better than the movie. Now, the final episodes. If you made it this far, I just want to say thank you. You did not have to watch this whole video. I really appreciate it if you did. Honestly, don't know who is going to make it this far. I hope at least 2 people do. So, for the 2 people watching, thank you for watching this video up until this point. I really appreciate it. I really do. So, Sozin's comet is 2 days away. The long-awaited battle. Our journey is coming to an end, and everyone's excited about it. I know I am. But Aang decided to wait to fight the Fire Lord until after the comet comes. Smart decision? No. His thinking is the Fire Nation already won when they took the Earth Kingdom, so how much worse can it get? A lot worse is the answer. Zuko informs them that it actually can get much worse. Essentially, the Fire Nation is going to burn the Earth Kingdom to the ground, so they have no hope. It's just some bundles of joy over there in the Fire Nation, isn't it? Aang starts freaking out because he doesn't know how he's going to defeat Fire Lord Ozai. The gang is like, we can help you fight him. We're a team, remember? And he's like, oh, okay, like, I feel better about that. But then he's like, wait, there has to be a way to defeat him without killing him. And everyone's like, no, you have to kill him. How to defeat the Fire Lord without killing him? That's the whole debate. He should make a YouTube video on that, like a tutorial. Because he does it. I understand Aang to a certain extent. He has his beliefs. He wants to stick to his beliefs. I'm sure he wouldn't mind killing him. I mean, Azulan wiped out his whole nation. His grandson is about to do the same thing. I think killing him probably is the best decision for him right now. But at the same time, in Aang's head, he's sinking just as low as Azulan by killing the Fire Lord. He's still killing innocent lives. Not innocent, but you know what I mean. Obviously, Azulan killing all those people is much worse than Aang killing a dictator. But in his head, it's still a human life. Remember when I said that Aang has to preserve the culture of the air nomads? Well, this is a part of the culture. And he's at war with himself internally, trying to figure out, do I try and preserve a part of my culture that's very important to me, or do I just make this big decision and kill the guy? So I understand he wants to preserve his culture. He doesn't want to do anything that an air nomad wouldn't do. But what I don't understand, though, is Aang has definitely killed people. You're telling me all those ships he's wiped out, all those people he sent overboard, all those people he sent flying, rocks, everything. Not one of them has died. I guess there's a difference between standing in front of someone and killing them and defending yourself with the things around you and killing them that way. But my point is, he has killed people. So why not just kill Ozai? This problem, though, is really bugging Aang. It's bugging him so much that he disappears onto a floating island without a trace. Nobody knows where he is. While on this floating island thing, Aang decides to talk to his past avatars for help, which works out really poorly for him because all of them basically say to kill Ozai. You must strike the Fire Lord down and defeat him. You must kill him and show no mercy. Did I mention you have to kill him? I offer you this wisdom, Aang. That's what they all said to him, basically. Even Yang Chen said that, and she's an airbender. So he's just big time screwed. The gang is on the hunt for Aang, and when June says he doesn't exist, they decide to go a different route and find Iroh. They head to Ba Sing Se, where the Order of the White Lotus, aka the Order of Old People, they're all there. Zuko wants Iroh to defeat the Father Lord if Aang's not there. But Iroh says no, because history would just see it as another act of violence, a brother killing another brother for power. Like, it has to be Aang. And Zuko needs to be Fire Lord now, because he has unquestionable honor. Thank God. Everyone has their destinies worked out. Zuko and Katara are going to go fight Azula. Sokka, Suki, and Toph are going to take down the airship fleets. And Aang is still nowhere to be found. He's actually on a lion turtle, not a giant floating island. And the turtle tells him some advice. It's a lot of yapping, honestly. He teaches him a new form of bending. He essentially tells Aang that he doesn't have to kill the Fire Lord. There's another way. Zuko and Katara go to fight Azula, and she's a little bit crashing out right now. I do feel bad for her. I don't want you guys to think I'm heartless and have no empathy for her. It's hard because she just is messed up in the head, especially at this point. She just wanted her mother's love, and her mother thought she was a monster. I think she is unstable and needs a lot of help. Her upbringing definitely did not help with the unstableness. I don't necessarily think she was born evil like the show portrays, but she is her father's daughter. If she was more like her father, she'd have no hope inside her. But that's why she cracks, because there is slight good inside of her. I don't know exactly what happens in the comics because, again, I haven't read them, but I do know she's given like a half redemption. I think that's valid. I think a person that has done that much harm shouldn't get a full redemption. She had the full capabilities to not be evil, and she chose to be evil. But now we get to the last Agni Kai. That's my favorite fight. The fight between Aang and the Fire Lord is good, but the fight between Zuko and Azula is just beautiful. And Zuko is so goofy. He's like, there's something off about her, I can't tell. And she's standing there with her hair a mess and an insane look in her eye. Their fight is cinematic. It's a culmination of their whole lives. And the music and the fire and the visuals and the everything, it all built up to this exact moment. The whole series, Azula is so sure of herself and her fighting capabilities. She's the golden child. She's never done anything wrong in her life. She's perfect. Zuko, on the other hand, is not. He is so unsure of himself the whole series, and he doesn't know what he wants. He is at war with himself. But in this battle, it switches. Zuko has accepted himself, and he stands his ground against Azula. And Azula is clearly at war with herself. Zuko has never been more sure than in this moment. And Azula's the most unsure she's ever been. People don't like that Katara had to finish the fight for Zuko, but I think it's perfect because Zuko and Katara are friends. They came to defeat Azula together. And if Azula had a friend, maybe it wouldn't have ended like that. Maybe she would have someone fighting with her, but she doesn't. She has no friends. Mei and Ty Lee are gone. It's just her. Back to Aang and Ozai, like, hello, main character. In the beginning of the fight, Aang is respectfully getting horribly beaten. He's still not set on killing Ozai, and he's just defending himself rather than delivering attacks. And it's just bad. Somehow, he gets blasted so hard that he hits his chakra and opens up the avatar state. Now we're talking. So at this point, he masters the avatar state. Like, that's the moment where he does. I don't really know how. But Aang is the best he's ever been, ever, in the avatar state. He's just bam, bam, bam. And then Ozai's like, oh my gosh. And then it's so good. He's unstoppable. But then, just as Aang is about to deliver the final blow, he snaps out of the avatar state. But that right there, the fact that he could snap out of it, shows that he mastered the avatar state, because he used to not be able to, like, turn it off like that. This is just my favorite moment in the whole show, personally. When they're on that cliff thing, and then he feels the earth, and he feels Ozai about to attack, and he kicks his leg up. Ugh, it's so good. It's like cinema. This is where the Lion Turtle's advice comes into play. He taught Aang a new form of bending, like I said, and it's called energy bending. And with energy bending, Aang has the ability to take Ozai's bending away. That's the perfect ending. Aang didn't want to kill Ozai, so he found a new way, and this new way is 10 times cooler. Are you kidding me? He took away someone's bending. No one's ever done that. The battle's over. Our heroes have won, thankfully. I think one of the saddest moments, though, is when Zuko and Aang go out to greet the whole crowd. There's people from all the nations, except for the air nomads. Aang doesn't even get to celebrate with his own people because they're all dead. It doesn't really hit you until that moment, because you're not seeing a visual representation of all the nations, and then there's no air nation. There's 3 big groups of people, and you're like, where are the air nomads? And they're just not there. Aang and Katara share a beautiful moment at the end, which concludes the whole series. I'm happy they hugged first before they kissed. I think hugs are a much more powerful way to show love for somebody, and they've been through everything together, truly. It's only right that they end up together. That's the end, which is honestly really crazy. I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. But really quick before I go, I want to talk about Aang. We meet him as a 12-year-old nameless boy, the boy in the iceberg. A year goes by, and he doesn't just age a year. Like, yeah, he's 13 now, but he matures more than any 13-year-old boy ever. He grows into Avatar Aang. And it's no coincidence that the first episode of the whole series is called The Boy in the Iceberg, and the last is Avatar Aang. When we found him in that iceberg, he was scared. He didn't want to be the Avatar. He was running away from his problems. Now, almost a full year later, he's accepted himself. He is the Avatar. I'm very proud of him. He makes me feel like a proud mother. Like, I have very maternal instincts when it comes to him. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know what series or movie or anything that you want to see next. And until next time, bye.